Okay, so in this lesson, I'll be showing you how to create a quiz within our mathematics exercise or mathematics course. Okay, so previously we've added all the activities within the course, but now we are going to move on to the assessments. And the best way to assess on Moodle is by using the quiz module or the quiz activity. So once again, make sure that editing is turned on by clicking on Turn Editing On. Then we currently in the section called the basics of the function concept. Okay, and we'll be adding a quiz here. Now, before we can add a quiz, we first need to add questions to the question bank. And then from the question bank, we can import those questions within the quiz when we set up the quiz. So first, let's go to the question bank. Here we are on the question bank. Let's click on questions. And remember, we've already added a category called where we use the glossary. And there's the function terminology. Okay, so let's add a new category under the parent category called functions. Okay, so this will be our basic functions. Let's call it the basic functions bank. Okay, we can leave this blank, or we can add an ID. Okay, so there's our basic functions bank or question bank. Let's change that to question bank. Let's leave it at basic functions. Okay, save. Okay, so let's click on basic functions. Now within this category, we are going to create our questions. Okay, so let's go to, yeah. Okay, so there's our category. It's currently empty. So now we're going to add, first of all, let's look at multiple choice questions. Okay, that's the easy one. So let's create multiple choice questions. Now make sure that you are in your category. Click on create a new question. And now from the choose a question type, the top one is multiple choice. So let's click on it. You can read through there. Once you're happy, you can click on add. Okay, so let's create our first question on functions. Remember, this is a basic question, so let's just paste our question in there. And let's type here, solve the following. Let's just paste it in there. Okay, so what I use is, I use a tool called the Equatio. Okay, so I've added the extension here. You'll see there's the extension. I also have the latex math equations, but I use the Equatio extension within Google Chrome. Okay, so once this is opened, you'll see here the toolbar, Equatio toolbar, and now I can paste when I click on the equation editor, I can paste my equation in there, and it will I can then paste it in here, and it makes it more mathematics writable, if we can call it that. Okay, so I want to paste it in here. So let's just click on insert math, and you'll see there immediately it adds it to the question area or the auto editor. Okay, and now it looks nice. Instead of, let's just remove that, instead of copying and pasting that question in here. Can you see the difference? Okay, so this is why I use the Equatio, the editor, and you'll see later on what we also can use it for. Okay, so let's paste it in there. Now let's just format this large heading. Okay, and let's bring it more to the center, and this one also more to the center. Okay, we can close this. Now, this is our question, and they need to find the function of g. Okay, so let's leave it on 2 marks. Okay, and now, if you look at ID number, we can leave it on blank. Remember, when we add embedded questions, this will become important, but we'll touch on that later on. Okay, we want to shuffle the choices. What this means is that 2 learners sitting next to each other won't receive the same options that we are going to set here. So the options are shuffled. Okay, let's choose. I don't want numbering, but I can also select from these numberings. Okay, show standard instructions. Let's leave that on no. Okay, now our first choice. Okay, so let's go to our equation editor, and I'm going to remove this. Let's make my first choice 26, and let's just add it in here. Okay, and that will be the correct answer. My second choice will be, let's make this 29, and let's insert it there. Remember, you have to click where you want to add this equation or this maths. Let's remember, when it's the correct answer, we choose 100%, but when it's incorrect, we leave it on none. Okay, now the third choice, let's choose, the third choice is 45, and let's insert it there, and it's also wrong, so leave it on none. We can also provide feedback here. Okay, I'll show you now. And then on choice 4, let's make that, let's make it 35, and let's insert it there. Now, for our feedback, if we scroll up, here's our general feedback, and here we are guiding the learners in solving this, or we can provide a correct answer. So let's do that. So I'm basically going to copy and paste the correct answer in here, but I want to paste it in here and then insert it in there. Okay, so there's my correct answer and how I come to my correct answer. So this I can copy and paste in all the incorrect answers. Okay, when the learner provides an incorrect answer, I kind of guide him or her to the correct answer. So let's leave that blank. Okay, so now let's go through it. You have to give it a question name. You have to give it a question text, and this is usually the problem. Then the default mark. How many marks do you want this problem to count? Then the general feedback. You can provide steps here to follow for the learner to come to the correct answer. Then are this multiple, one or more answers? It's only one answer, but if a problem has more than one answer, you can choose multiple answers allowed. Okay, then the numbering system, we leave it on none, but you can choose however you like this. Leave it on shuffle, because this will shuffle the choices. Let's close this, that we have more room. We can leave on no. Then choice 1 is you can make choice 4 also the correct answer. It doesn't matter, okay, as long as the correct answer is 100%. The incorrect answers are none. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I can provide combined feedback. Your answer is correct, or your answer is partially correct, your answer is incorrect. Then I can have multiple tries, but I can also set penalties for multiple tries. Okay, then I can use tags, but I'll leave that as is. So let's click on Save Changes. Okay, so once I click on Save Changes, you'll see there's my question, my first question. And let's preview this question by clicking on Edit and then Preview. And now you'll see there's my question text, there's my question, and here's my answers, my possible answers. And when I select the incorrect answer, let's click on Submit and Finish. You'll see there, this is incorrect, and here it provides me with a possible with a solution. Okay, let's start again and choose the correct answer. Let's choose 26, finish. Okay, so there is my correct answer, and it gives me here a solution for the correct answer. Okay, so this is my first question. Now I can add my second question by clicking on Create New Question. Okay, so let's create a new question, multiple choice, add. My second question will be, okay, so let's add, remember I only have one question now. Let's add another question. Let's use my equation editor. Okay, there it is. Immediately when I click in here, solve the following. Okay, let's do that. Press enter, and now I want to insert that in there. Okay, let's just increase that. Let's make that lots and center it. Center this. Okay, so there's my problem, question. Okay, so now I leave it on 2 marks. I can have general feedback, which is basically my correct answer. So let's paste it in there, but we're going to paste it in here and then copy it. Let's paste it in there and then we insert it in here. Okay, so now this is my solution. So my answer is 56. Okay, can I have an ID number? Only one answer is allowed, or one answer is correct. Let's shuffle this, no numbering, and then let's leave that on no. My first choice will be, let's put in my first choice here so that it becomes more visible. So that's 54. Let's add it in here. Remember, my correct answer is 56, so this will be none. Okay, let's do the second one, 45. Let's add it in here. It's also none. Then my third one will be 46, and that's the correct answer. Insert, is that the correct answer? No, it's 56. Okay, so that's also incorrect. And then my last answer will be 56. Okay, let's insert it in here and make sure that it's 100%. Okay, so now I can provide general feedback on that. So let's just copy this and paste it wherever there's an incorrect answer. Okay, let's paste it in there. Let's paste it in there. Okay, it's combined feedback, and okay, let's close this. Now let's click save. Okay, so there's my first question, there's my second question. Let's just test it. Remember, you need to test it in order to see if you select the wrong answer, it will provide a wrong answer, and if you select the correct answer, it will provide the correct answer. So that x to the power of 2, that doesn't look correct. So let's just fix that and insert that in there. Okay, now it looks better. Okay, that's better. Let's do that the same here. Okay. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so that's correct. Okay, that's fine. So now let's go to save. Let's save. Okay, now let's preview it. Okay, so there we go. There's our question. Let's choose our answer. It's 56. Submit. Okay, so there's the correct answer. Okay, so now we've added 2 questions. Okay, so now this is in our question bank. This is not a quiz yet. Okay, so we can add more questions here, but as soon as we start to test learners or assess learners, we use a quiz and not the question bank. Okay, so the quiz extracts questions from the question bank. So let's go to our quiz. Let's set up our quiz. Remember, there's only 2 questions. So we on basics. And now, once we turn editing on here, we go down to add an activity or resource, and we scroll down to where we see a quiz. There's our quiz. Okay, so let's give it a name. Let's call it functions, and this is basics. Okay, we can provide a description here. Let's look at the timing. Okay, so when do you want this quiz to open? Okay, since it's the 28th today, I want it open tomorrow. Okay, but I'll leave it on the 28th for now. Okay, so I can enable this and choose a date here when I want it to open. So up until that date, whenever I enable it, it will be closed to learners and they won't be able to take that quiz. Okay, close the quiz. When do you want it to close? Let's say I open it on the 29th and I want it closed just for an hour. I can set it here. Okay, I can set it for the 29th here and the 29th here, and then I can actually set a time limit when the quiz would close. I can have this on, let's say, 1 hour. After 1 hour, the quiz will close. Okay, so let's leave it on 1 hour, and you'll see the clock counter as soon as the quiz starts. Okay, when the time runs out, what do you want to happen? Should the open attempts be submitted automatically? Yes, let's leave it on that. Okay, now the grade. Okay, you can leave it on uncategorized, and you can set a grade to pass. If you want a passing grade of 50%, let's say 50%, you leave it on 50% or 40%. Okay, so you type the percentage in here. Then attempts allowed. How many attempts do you want the learner to make to actually submit before they can submit the quiz for final marking? Okay, so let's leave it on 1 attempt. Layout. Should each question be on a separate page, or do you want all your questions on the same page? Okay, so let's leave it on never all questions on one page. I leave it on that. Okay, but you can choose differently. If you want the learners to only see one question per page and it doesn't overwhelm them, they see all the questions. Okay, then question behavior, let's leave it on shuffle within the quiz and within the question, and then deferred feedback. We'll touch on this later on. Reviewing options, let's leave this on default. We'll touch on that later on. And then appearance, should the user's image appear, I usually leave it on small image, and then decimals I leave it on 0. Okay, then same as overall grade, let's leave it as is. Then if you want to lock the user's browser, let's say this is an exam and you want to lock this whole browser so they won't have access to Alt Control and Delete or any other buttons, you can use the Safe Exam browser, and I'll touch on that later on. Okay, now extra restrictions on attempts. You can have a password to open the quiz. Overall feedback, you can have overall feedback for 100% and 0%. And then common module settings we leave as is. Restrict access. If you want learners to open this quiz only after they did the previous activities, you can add in a restriction by clicking on add restriction. And then if you click on activity restriction or activity completion, you can select here the student must first do the crossword, or first do the terminology, or first do the assignment, both assignments, before they can actually attempt the quiz. So you can select here activity to be completed. These activities need to be completed or marked as completed, and then the quiz will open. So you can add other restrictions to accept for this to open the quiz. You can add more restrictions by clicking on and adding the restrictions here. Then activity completion is usually we set this on show activity as complete when conditions are met. And what conditions should be met? The students must view the activity, yes. Then the student must receive a grade for this activity to be completed. And if you have a passing grade, the students must require passing grade. However, if you set that you need to increase the attempts. Okay, so if you have 5 attempts here, the learners have more attempts to actually have that passing to acquire that passing grade. Okay, then the required attempts, the minimum number of attempts you want them to have, it's set to 1 here. And then the expected time you need to complete it, you can set a date here. Tags and competencies we'll leave as is. Let's click on save and display. Okay, so now once you're at this screen, okay, remember we've only done the settings of the quiz. We haven't added any questions to the quiz. Okay, so here it gives us a summary. Attempts allowed is 1. Remember we've set the attempts. Then the time limit is 1 hour. Then the grade to pass is 2 out of 10. Okay, so let's click on edit quiz. Now we're going to add the questions that we previously created. So let's click on edit quiz. Okay, so here it says edit quiz functions basics. Okay, there's currently 0 questions in this quiz. Okay, now we want to add the questions from the question bank. Now under shuffle you'll see add. Just click on the arrow pointing down and now click on from question bank. Once we're here, there's our questions from our question bank. Let's click on it. We select all of them, all 3 questions, okay, and then add selected questions to the quiz. And now all 3 our questions are added. There's our marks. We can change the marks here, okay. Then we can shuffle these questions within the quiz so that 2 learners sitting next to each other won't receive the same question. Okay, then we can click on save and go back to our basics section. Okay, so let's click on basics, and now when you scroll down you'll see there's the quiz, basics, functions. Okay, so let's attempt the quiz. Click on it, and this is what the learner will see. You'll see attempts 1, time limit 1 hour, grade to pass is 2. Let's click on attempt quiz. Now it provides them with a little description here of what they are expected to do. Start attempt. And now you'll see the time started on 1 hour. Okay, and there are 3 questions. There's a little picture. If you scroll down, there's the question. Remember, we've selected that all questions should be visible to the learners. Okay, solve the following. So let's choose 56 here. Solve the following. Let's choose 26 here. Solve the following. Let's choose 26 here. Okay, so there's my 3 questions. And there's my time. I still have time left. Okay, so I'm done now. Let's click on finish and finish the attempt. Okay, so now all my 3 questions were answered. They shows me answered, saved, answered, saved. Okay, now I can return to the attempts if I want to review something. Let's just to make sure that I have the correct answers. Or the learner can flag this question if they think, but there's a problem with this question. They click on flag and you'll see the red flag there on the question. And also in the corner there, you'll see the red dot, and the teacher will immediately see that the learner had a problem with this question. Scroll down, finish attempt. And now you'll see the status. All answers are saved. There's still time remaining, and now I can click on submit all and finish. It provides me confirmation. Yes, I want to submit. And now it says here, I've started it on Wednesday. I finished it. The time it took me, the marks, and then the scoring or the grade. And then it provides me with a little detailed view of the answers I selected, as well as the correct answers. And this is how we set up questions within a question bank, as well as add a quiz to our course. So In our next activity, we'll use the different question types within Moodle.